One thing's for sure. This would have never happened at the Zeddies. It's the 48th annual Zeddies, the biggest night in Hollywood. And here's your host, Nathan Zed. No, thank you. The Best Picture award goes to Ratatouille for the 15th year in a row. Nobody can argue with that. Come on down. Oh, he's right here! Why is it that the only interesting thing that happens at award shows is when they mess up? Not the most interesting thing, the only interesting thing.
Yo, Taylor. That's the Moonlight.
It's easy to say, oh, these young kids and their TikTok attention spans, they don't understand real cinema. But these shows are literally 4 hours long. It's the Snyder cut of award shows. There's a lot of cringe moments, like 100 advertisements, and they don't even show some of these people actually getting their awards. Isn't that the point of the award show? Instead of seeing that, they're gonna show a long, boring James Bond tribute introduced by Tony Hawk and Shaun White. I like some of the Tony Hawk kickflips. The heck does he know about movies? So it's not just boring for young people. It's like it's designed to be boring. From the Moonlight debacle to the Will Smith thing, the only time these shows are ever talked about now is when something happens that the Oscars didn't want to happen. I'm not here to talk about Will Smith, one, because it literally was talked to death in 24 hours. I just wanted to make a video about this topic in general. Eddy Burback had a great video on it, but I've just been thinking about this for a while too. If you must know my take on the slap, violence is never the answer. But, no, I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna say but. However, no, I'm just kidding. I'm on the side that it shouldn't have happened, but I'm glad that it did. You can argue all day about whether or not it was right or wrong, but one thing is for sure, it was the most entertaining thing to happen all year. Finally, some water cooler conversation level event. Everybody in the world had a conversation about that this past week. It just got bad once every single person felt the need to weigh in online. Who's right? Who's wrong? People coming out saying if that was Betty White, she could have been dead. She is dead. Will Smith is not gonna have to return his Oscar. The Oscars probably want to give him 10 more awards. They were loving it. You know how I know they were loving it? His speech was like 7 minutes long. They didn't even start to play the little music where it's like, all right, buddy, wrap it up. They had the camera up there like, oh my God, he's crying now. This is it. In the back, popping champagne bottles. Let's go, people are actually gonna watch this. Because if that didn't happen, 99% of people wouldn't even know that the Oscars were on. But why is that? For 50 years, the Oscars and the Grammys were must-watch television. How did they go from that 50 million people watching every year to now nobody cares unless somebody literally gets smacked on live TV? Unfortunately, as a man who's never won anything, I had to come up with my own self-worth. But I remember back in the days when there was only one thing to watch at night. Everyone gathered around the TV to watch the stars. These millionaires so high up, you'd have to turn on the TV on this specific night just to catch a glimpse of them outside of their movies or their music. They just had Billy Crystal host like 14 times in a row and nobody cared. It was still 50 million people tuning in every year. Now everyone has social media. We see these people every day, and more than that, we've realized they're annoying. We actually hear so much about celebrities nowadays that we beg to hear less. But they just keep telling us things. They don't even bathe. That was like a big thing. The last thing we're gonna do is tune in to hear more of them. On top of that, there aren't really movie stars anymore. You think this whole thing would have been as big of a deal if it was Casey Affleck slapping Jimmy Kimmel? No, nobody would care as much. Will Smith is just one of the last global stars left. You could get on TikTok right now, do a couple dances, and be more famous than 70% of the people in this room. And when everyone's famous, nobody is. Now that the curtain has kind of been lifted on these award shows, it's hard to take them seriously. And I think that the problem with these shows is that they want to be taken seriously so bad that you can't take them seriously because they want to be taken seriously. Like, you know when you're a kid and one of the kids just starts cursing a lot all of a sudden and wants to like seem more adult, or the guy in college that buys a nice car and is revving it up like crazy but still can't talk to women and grew up to have a alpha male podcast. That's the Oscars. They try so hard to make this the biggest night in Hollywood while still making all the mistakes to make it the least interesting night in most people's lives. And I don't have anything going on. You could just put on a 2-hour video of a hamster and a wheel and I'd be entertained. If you got all these people under the same roof and I'm still bored, you're doing something wrong. The thing is, they try so hard to do everything they can to get more viewers that it shows they have no idea what they're doing. And it still never works. They went from having a host to no host, having a host, having 3 hosts. Yeah, maybe that'll mean 3 times the viewers. No. At one point, they almost created a popular movie Oscar category where they give it to a Marvel movie every year, I guess. I mean, what is the point of that? Everything about these shows is just a little bit off. Like, for example, people are acting like what Will Smith did was the biggest travesty of that night, but the actual worst thing was the "We Don't Talk About Bruno" performance. And I think this just perfectly illustrates how out of touch these award shows are. You have one simple, easy thing to do, okay? Let the voice actors of the #1 song in America sing the song. It starts out good, first verse, they're doing what you came to see. Then all of a sudden, Megan Thee Stallion comes out of nowhere, starts rapping a remix. Because someone on the Oscar team is like, oh, she's on the TikTok. Yo, put her on there. The young kids will love it. The young kids love Encanto. They don't know who Megan Thee Stallion is. And then the whole song turns into a song literally about the Oscar night itself. You had those little kids eating at the palm of your hand, and you still messed it up. We all wanted to hear about Bruno, okay? Not Oscar. I don't even know Oscar like that. I think that shows what the biggest problem is. They're literally just full of themselves. They're full of themselves in the worst way, where the talent and the movies don't even get to be appreciated. But it kind of just shows how important are these awards anyways. The Oscars, the Grammys, the Emmys, the Kids' Choice Awards, the Teens' Choice Awards, the People's Choice Awards, the Dog Choice Awards. Enough! Enough choosing, okay? I'm putting an end to this right now. I'm stripping you all of your decision to decide things. To me, it seems like the awards for TV and film are more important than the music awards. I mean, when you're up for an Oscar, it could actually mean getting more roles or not getting more roles in your career. But with a Grammy, I feel like it's still up to you, like how good the music is and how if people are gonna actually still mess with the music or not. And that's not up to the Grammy Awards. It's up to the people. You could just blow up off the internet with music. But if you work in movies or TV, you might need that award to book your next job. But even then, there's still actors who win Oscars, the highest award for an actor, and struggle to get roles. My guy from Captain Phillips, Lupita Nyong'o, both of them struggled to find roles after winning Oscars. Jordan Peele had to create like a whole new genre of black horror for Lupita Nyong'o to have a leading role. They had her in Star Wars as this thing. Maybe there's a certain similarity between them that you'll notice. I don't know. On the other hand, Jared Leto won an Oscar, and this man has not proved himself since. In fact, he's done some of the worst movies of the last decade, and he's still seen by the industry as a leading man. Maybe because he was just in the best bat-related movie of the year. Maybe of all time. That Oscar has carried this man's career for 10 years. Christopher Nolan has never won an Oscar. Tarantino's never won for directing. Spielberg has only won twice. DiCaprio took like 20 years to win an Oscar. Samuel L. Jackson just won an honorary one. So you can have a legendary career without one. It's just a nice little bow at the top of your career. But it's hard to watch these awards when some of your own legends aren't even getting awarded like they should be. Dune won all these awards, but Denis wasn't even nominated for Best Director. Who do you think directed all these other things to be good? I think we're just tired of seeing them get it wrong so much. And for some of these, there's like no criteria. Is it about what's the best? What's the most popular? What are we actually basing this on? When Beyonce dropped a game-changing album and lost, it was, oh, it's not about the popularity, it's about the talent, the music. I was like, oh, okay, of course, yeah, that makes sense. So when Kendrick lost with one of the best albums of all time to Taylor Swift, it was, oh, it's not just the best music. You gotta have the sales, you gotta have the charts. These were some of the biggest songs of the year. Taylor Swift had some bangers, and she did. I was like, okay, I mean, that makes sense, all right, I'll let you go. Then when The Weeknd had one of the biggest songs of all time, and all the critical acclaim, and was still not nominated for anything, while Yummy by Justin Bieber was nominated the same year, what's the excuse now? Oh, none of this matters. The Grammys gave an award to Macklemore over Kendrick and ruined this man's career with a win. I've never seen anything like this in my life. He won a Grammy and was never taken seriously again. I mentioned this in my last video, but the Oscar voters don't even watch the animated movies that they're voting for. They just ask their kids, what's the best movie? And then just vote for that. How are we supposed to take these awards serious? It got even more apparent that they don't know what they're doing with all the controversy. There was Oscar so white. And now they're stuck between trying to award diversity and like genuinely award it. I knew they were struggling with this when they put the best actor category all the way at the end of the show for the first time in history, because they thought, oh, they were like, oh, Chadwick Boseman is gonna win. Let's put it at the end of the show so there will be a lot of hype. Maybe the black people will watch the show. And then they gave it to Anthony Hopkins. So why was it at the end of the show? Yo, I love Anthony Hopkins. He deserved the award. But the way y'all set up the show, That was disrespectful to my boy. Golden Globes going through a whole scandal. You find out that there's 0 black people on their entire body, and then they just didn't even air last year. They were like, oh, you caught us. All right, we're done. See you guys. Peace. They just stopped the Golden Globes. That's why Eddie was right. The Kids' Choice Awards are what's the most valuable. The kids chose you. The Academy, a bunch of old people behind the curtain playing industry politics. The Kids' Choice Awards, you were chosen by the streets. There are still some good parts about these award shows. The movies get a bump at the box office, more people get to see them, there's just more momentum behind them. I remember I used to love these little crossovers they would do at the Emmys between like Breaking Bad and The Office, or Conan and Lost and 24. The performances are one of the best parts of it. Some of my favorite live performances ever were at award shows. These people who come and sing their heart out just to lose the award. And it's always fun to see the people that deserve to win. When I first saw Chance the Rapper win a Grammy, it felt like I won a Grammy. Watching him work from being a kid to there was amazing. It felt like I was part of the journey, and it was nice to see someone rewarded for that work. But that happens so few and far between. What's the point?
Going to award shows is like getting dressed up. You go do red carpets, you take pictures, and then they open up the curtain, and there your girlfriend is there cheating on you. And then they tell you, come back next year. You get to see it again.
So what's the answer? I'm not even gonna present a solution, because I'm not doing this for free. I don't even think there is a solution at this point. It's just the natural end of an era. It's never gonna be the 50 million people watched show again. So maybe just focus on the 10 million people watching every year instead of trying to pander to everybody else just so you can get a couple new viewers at the expense of your main audience and everyone there in attendance. Oh, this used to be must-watch television. What happened? I can answer that question right now. Nobody watches television. You think maybe it's because we moved to streaming and you're still airing this on ABC like it's 2005? I don't even think the solution is to take them less seriously, because all their attempts to take it less seriously just come off as mean. Saying no, nobody watched these movies, haha. It's like kind of weird. It's like, yo, you're all there together to celebrate these movies. Why would you say that? I mean, yeah, we know that, but you guys don't have to say it. Why not just respect the movies for the art that they are? Drive My Car has a box office total of $13, but that movie is beautiful. If the Oscars had any justice, Nacho Libre would have won 10 years ago. What do you guys think about these award shows? What's your take on all this stuff? Let me know in the comments down below. You might as well like this video so it can be nominated for a shorty or whatever the YouTube awards are called. And the award for the most abrupt ending to a video goes to...
I got it. If I don't got it, I'll find it. If I can't find it, I'll make it. If I can't make it, I'll take it from whoever got it.